Hello, this is AnimusKellen, and I'm making a video here about me coming back into the season, and I'm going to be trying to record these videos at least once every week or two about me going to tournaments and my thought processes before, during, and after the tournaments, and just overall how I feel and how things are going and what I plan to do for the season. So, for first off, my goals for this season is to make sure I'm pacing myself. I know the season usually lasts about 11 and a half weeks, and I only really plan to go to about two events a week, unless it's like I'm trying to snipe somebody. But for the most part, it's kind of my goal there. I don't want to get myself too desperate for wins, or I don't want to really burn myself out going to too many tournaments. And I think it's important to pace myself. For the off season, I didn't really practice too much. Outside of entering TO Appreciation Day and maybe like an hour or two with Rally before the Day of Atonement, I didn't really practice the game, so I ended up taking an unintentional break. And even though it wasn't planned, I don't know if it really helped me out, right? Because taking a break for me, I kind of have to make some rules about taking a break because they have the benefits of taking a break isn't for everybody in the sense of like when I take a break, things will get worse in terms of my gameplay, but things like my mental will be a little better. Getting back into playing the game is a little better. I might enjoy the game a bit more than what I did before. Uh, but not everybody can really benefit from that because when you take a break and then you come back, sometimes you might be a little upset that you're not doing as well as you used to prior to the break, and that happens a lot. Uh, but for me, I didn't really plan on taking the break, uh, but here we are, right? It was a good mental reliever, honestly. IMO. And so the negative sides of my break, right, is I have to get used to turning nerves again, which I've done that process so many times now that maybe after the next two tournaments, I'll probably be more calm in tighter situations during sets. But I've gotten used to having to take breaks because of work and then coming right back. And it kind of made me realize that I also need to focus on things like spacing and ledge trapping. Not because I am incapable of doing it, but because I am good at those things and I need to make sure I'm doing things that I'm good at. Sometimes that's just a good reminder. And coming into the tournament, I wasn't really expecting much, right? I think my seed was third, and I didn't really mind that. It was possible for me to get second, maybe first if I somehow double eliminate Renegade, right? Uh, and honestly, coming into the tournament, we can go ahead and talk about my sets here. I was thinking about going into them with kind of a general game plan, and for the most part, avoid getting killed by obvious kills, kill confirms, and like game plans that the opponent has. That's kind of obvious, but I don't think people really realize how many people kind of just fall into people's game plans, if that makes sense. And it's not even like the characters' game plans, but like the player's game plan. And I just have to remind myself what people are looking for and then avoiding it. And then I just need to make sure that I'm really good at using my kill confirms. Because I think my neutral and my movement is good enough to rack up enough damage for kill confirms. So things like my down tilt, IDJ up air, Nair bouncing fish were the main things that got me most of my kills for this tournament. And you can see that during the VODs. Those are the main ways how I get them, how I get my kills. So going into each set for like Cosmics, I punished a lot of spot dodges, punished a lot of down tilts that Cosmics will use at super low percents, and then punishing jump and disadvantage. Jump and disadvantage is like the most common mistake many people do in this game, and you can get a lot off of it if you literally just call out jump and disadvantage all the time. You could probably like get above 2-2 unironically. uh, I lost game two to Cosmics because I was kind of rushing in too much and I wasn't really being careful. Like I was just being really reckless. And then in game three, which should be in the VOD here, I slowed down way more, especially when I was at higher percents, so that I wouldn't just die right away because I was recklessly going in. Right. Against KH, I don't really like Sora. I think Sora's very boring. I think he has a lot of properties I really don't like fighting against. He's very floaty, so I have to change my standard combos for less optimal ones. Like, for example, I can't do landing fair into grab unless they like DI in, right? Uh, so I have to do things like landing fair into maybe F tilt or to maybe forward up tilt. So I can't really get as many grabs off him super early percents like I can with everybody else. And I played a lot more slower in the sets against Sora, just because I kind of have to. Because one, Sora can just throw out a bunch of hitboxes, and they do a lot of damage to me. I don't like that. And like, there's a lot of out of shield options Sora has that can kill me, whether it's up B or like freeze out of shield isn't really an option, but freeze in general. Like if I'm coming in, you could probably see in the set here where Cage uses freeze, and I like wait till the end of it, but like the last speck of it hits me, and then I almost got up smash, and that's kind of ridiculous. And things like up B out of shield can kill me because she's a lot lighter. But I was able to punish a lot of things like really bad dares or preemptive counters, and kind of waiting for moments for when there'd be moments with Cage would like do like Nair 1, Nair 2 up air, or just like Nair 1, Nair 2, Nair 3 anytime I was near him. And it kind of made it things a lot easier to punish. As for Renegade, I beat his Steve and his Snake for winners, and playing the Snake for playing for the Steve for the first time in a while. I didn't really do good against that game one because I was trying to like call out all the things that I'm usually good at calling out against Steve, like his minecarts, his jumps, his anvils. But because I wasn't positioning myself in a good spot, I ended up losing game one because I wasn't used to like positioning myself. Because when you don't position yourself good against Steve, you take a lot of damage. Sheik's very light. Steve's kind of broken, so that happened. But then game two and game three, uh, that was a lot easier for me. I started punishing Renegade a lot more for jumping, using minecart, and then not being able to approach with Steve, right? And then against Snake specifically, I was grabbing a lot more. Well, I don't want to say that, right? Because technically it is true that I'm grabbing a lot more, but I am actually getting grabs more, if that makes sense, right? And even though that's a little bit more difficult for she, because she doesn't really have a good dash grab, or even a big grab hitbox in general, uh, it's also difficult because Snake can kind of just spot dodge or just let grenade blow up, and if I don't time it correctly, then I lose the interaction. And whether Snake gets hit or not, so long as I'm taking damage, Snake is kind of winning that interaction in general. I was able to call out Renegade's up tilt pretty well. I would kind of use my crouch to space out and then go back in with down tilt. Ended up getting a lot of down tilt confirms, like I talked about earlier. And I was also using his grenades to my advantage because there's a lot of times when he would drop a grenade and then I grab him and then I wait, or like I down throw him and then he has a grenade in his hand, he gets blown up and I extend off of it. So a lot of those things helped out a lot, and I kind of had a feeling for how to play the set, the matchup. I don't really know how to explain it too well. I'd probably have to watch the VOD over and over to kind of get some ideas, but I do have that feeling for it. And there were some things I noticed, like, Renegade would wait for me on the plats, and instead of just going in right away, I would just kind of charge my noodles and wait for a specific timing for me to kind of go in and kind of punish it. Because, I mean, when someone's holding shield, they can only hold it for so long. Even without grenades popping it, there's going to be a point where they kind of have to let go. So, and some of my issues in the set was like I got blown up by C4 way too much because I would forget where it is. Sometimes, like last stock situations where I was a high percent, I would hold shield and then Renegade would just like put C4 on me and then throw me and kill me off that. And I just needed better execution, honestly. There's a lot of times when I would miss space and I get punished for it, and taking little percent versus Snake really makes a big difference because he has a lot of really strong hitboxes that can kill me. So, but for the most part, that all went pretty well. It was a pretty good tournament run. I was enjoying myself very much so, and it kind of made me things I need to focus on. And the main things I do need to focus on would be like my movement for sure. I need to play with different people and different players. So if you want to play, please let me know so we can go to Shenanigans, or I can go to your place. Uh, I'm usually available after 4 to 5 p.m. And I won't be attending any tournaments except Thursdays and Saturdays. So, like, if you want to do something Friday or Tuesday, please let me know, and then we can work something out there. And then other things for me to note is just like after the tournament, I couldn't really rewatch the sets, and I didn't really write anything down. But it was pretty nice. I think it's really important to remind myself that for me to get better at this game, I kind of do need to put the time into it. And sometimes that's just not really ideal. So, again, that's why I'm kind of scheduling things a little better here. That's why I'm trying to put myself to a bit more work once I'm out of once I'm out of work. Lol. I try to make a video or I look at the VODs. And I've done this video like 3 different times already. So, like, actually, I've seen this VOD so many times at this point, and it makes me sad because I know when I'm gonna die, and like I kind of cry a little bit because you kind of already know you're gonna die and lose. So, but that's just kind of how it is. But again, if anybody wants to play, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please just put that in the comments. YouTube is very big on that. And please hit like on the video. Again, thank you very much for watching.